Hello Needham channel viewers, and welcome to episode 26 of Real Money Moves. I'm your host Connor Gillen, and today I have Lauren Quinn in the studio with me. She's the founder of her own financial advisory firm, Legacy Wealth. She works with a lot of high net worth clients, including professional athletes, and is incredibly passionate about financial literacy and starting people young when it comes to understanding money. What I love about Lauren's approach is that she's not just focused on investing. She's focused on education, discipline, and building sustainable wealth. Lauren, thanks so much for being here today. I appreciate your time and your willingness to educate the viewers about wealth building. You own your own firm, which is awesome. What inspired you to build it, and what makes your approach different from traditional financial advisors?
I would say, so I built Legacy Wealth to provide strategic financial leadership, not just investment advisory. I think it's really important to have a leader behind you and feel like you have, say, a quarterback that's going to take care of everything that you can for your investments.
Absolutely.
And I think that individuals, especially high earners, often have fragmented financial strategies, so they don't have everything working together. So they may have investment planning, and they may have insurance planning, and they may have a savings strategy. But to really have everything working together is when you really see results for wealth planning and any kind of profits that you want to see.
Yeah, right, just making sure that everything's kind of cohesive.
Right. And minimize, we want someone to have the best strategy possible, minimizing taxes, protecting themselves, and then also growing, generational wealth.
100%. So you're big on starting financial education early. If you could design a financial literacy curriculum for a high school or college age individual who's just starting to maybe earn some money, what are the first three things that you would teach them?
So I think the first thing I would teach them is income doesn't create wealth alone. Ownership and structure does. So it's not just about how much you're bringing in, it's about what you do with it and how structured you are with it. The second thing I would say is I would teach discipline. It's very important when you're investing.
I could have used that when I was that age, for sure.
I think all of us could. Wealth is built through consistent, intentional decisions that you are, putting in place, and if you don't have the discipline to continue to do it, that's when you see people kind of fall off a little bit. So I think that's one of the large things. And the third I would teach is protection. The most successful individuals protect their downside before really getting aggressive in the market. So I think it's important that we teach how to protect whatever you have, even if you're starting out, and then how to really have that asset grow by having, no worry about a downside effect.
Awesome, that's great. And I've always been curious about this. You work with a lot of high net worth athletes, right? What's the biggest financial mistake you see at that level, right? So kind of the opposite end of the spectrum. And what separates the ones who build wealth from the ones who don't?
Right. And there's a big difference there. We see, often athletes have a very select amount of time that they're working in their career, what they're doing, and we all would love to see them last for 20 to 25 years or whatnot, but the reality of the situation is that they don't, and we have to make sure that we plan for that. So one of the common mistakes I saw was failing to convert temporary income into their actual kind of permanent wealth position. So they have their income coming in, and they have it for, again, a certain amount of years. How do we create that income to last them for their entire life into their family's lives also? It's very different than someone that has, a 401k at their job and whatnot, and they have 30 plus years to plan for this. High income for athletes is also, obviously we talked about, is short term. So wealth isn't built in a short-term manner, but for them, we have to make sure we're building it to last them forever. So when they do decide to retire, it needs to be able to be something they step away from and they're actually enjoying the second part of their life.
Right, and I would imagine, and I know you're not a CPA, but I would imagine a lot of that is protecting them from taxes, like your tax liability, because I know in Mass, you have a millionaire's tax, you start making that money, a lot of that is going away. Are there sort of some strategies you have in that regard to help them like minimize tax liability? Again, I know you're not a CPA, but
Right.
I'm just generally curious.
Yeah, so we actually work with a lot of CPAs. All of our clients, they have a full team, and we're just someone that is actually joining their team to make sure that they're growing their wealth the correct way. For CPA-wise, we see a lot of trusts that are set up in either Massachusetts or wherever they are out of and getting paid out of, to make sure that they're not losing 40% of what they're having to taxes and whatnot now and in the future. So that's one of the things too that we always like to focus on, is that it's not just right now we have to worry about, it's taxes in the future that we don't want to get a huge downfall in their income because they're paying 40% to taxes.
So for someone making good money, maybe a business owner or a W-2 earner that's in the $250,000 plus range, what are some of the core pillars that they should have in place before they start aggressively investing?
So I would say the first thing is the protection of income and their assets. You want to make sure that you have protection before, again, you start jumping into heavy investments and whatnot, because you can invest everything that you have, but if you don't have protection on the outside, it's not going to last you your entire lifetime and your children's and your families. Liquidity and flexibility, especially for business owners, we see that they have to be able to have that flexibility and be able to have liquid assets. They can't really lock money up for 30 years. They have to be able to utilize that money, so that's important also. And then tax efficient structuring. So a lot of business owners and high income, earners really don't understand how to structure your assets to be really tax efficient. And it's a very big difference if you do that than, say, if you wait until later on when you start taking distributions and what like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And when you say protection, right, are you talking about specific insurances or specific investments? What exactly do you mean?
Both. So I would say permanent life insurance plays a big role, especially with athletes, to be able to have that protection there no matter what. Their assets are protected, their family's protected, and their wealth is protected. But they're also gaining a lot of profits later on too. So they're able to take the money out and in and be able to have that flexibility. But also structuring their estate. So we want to make sure that the trusts are in place, LLCs are in place, and the correct planning is there, and that's why we work side by side with their CPAs and other professionals to make sure that their plan is really a cohesive plan, not just 5 individuals working by themselves. Right.
Yeah, that's huge. Having like everyone on the same page, working toward the same goal it's huge.
Exactly.
So from your perspective, right, as a financial advisor, where does real estate fit into a smart wealth building strategy?
So I've always said this, and I really do believe it, that it's a cornerstone of an asset class for any individual, but especially high net worth individuals. It really can be able to bring their asset class up to the next level, and they're able to leverage a lot. So for them to be able to invest into real estate, you're able to leverage taxes, you're able to have appreciation, you're able to do things that, say, at your income level, you're not really getting the benefits of if you don't take advantage of real estate. And I do think that the diversification factor of it adds stability to their current portfolio, that it allows them to be a little more risky in their investments because they have real estate that's there, that's stable, that's they're able to rely on.
Yeah, and I think too, outside of that, like there's a lot of tax benefits, right? You can do things like cost segregations for people that are in real estate, where you can save a lot of money on taxes, front load depreciation. So, I mean, I might be a little biased when I say it, but I've always thought it's a great investment tool to have it, not be your only investment, but to have it part of a bigger picture in your portfolio. I've always thought is huge.
Yes,
hugely important.
I completely agree with that. And if you don't have it, then you're missing a huge piece for yourself also, that you're not able to leverage a lot of those tax situations and whatnot. So I think it is 100% a very smart thing to have in your portfolio.
And it's also like a hedge against inflation, right? And the market goes up 5 to 7% a year. We've seen around here homes, I mean, forget like 4 or 5 years ago when they went up like 40%.
Right.
But they're steadily going up 7, 8, 10%. So if you were to put that money in the market, or if you were to put that money in real estate, like usually you're a little better off in real estate.
Right. Well, it gives you the control factor too. So you have
Yeah,
a control
yeah.
factor where real estate is a very reliable, asset that you can know that's going to grow. So you can get riskier with everything else that's not, say, a very controllable situation. So to gain that control is really important on that side.
If someone watching today wants to start by making one smart financial decision this month, right now, what would you recommend? What would that be?
I would say the most important thing is to gain clarity on your financial situation.
Mm-hmm.
Really understand where you want to go and where you are right now. And that is going to help anyone that's working with you create a strategy that's going to take you there, no matter what. And understand how your income's flowing, how your assets are positioned. Making sure that you really understand what you have in place and the purpose for it is really important. And whether your strategy aligns with your long-term goals. That's the biggest thing. You may have a great strategy right now that is good for your 5 to 10 year goal, but 30 years from now, we want to make sure that you're still in the same position and that you're actually being able to take advantage of the plan that we put in place. So clarity, I would say, is the first step. It's really intentional for creating wealth, but as I said, it's not really built by accident. It's built through structure, discipline, and education, regardless of who starts where, whether you're an individual or a high net worth individual. It really starts with the most important decision is to make sure that you're beginning an intentional plan and you have an intention behind it. Because when you do have that, it's going to really be a great thing for you later on.
Yeah, I think purpose is a great, create a purpose for your financial plan. That's great.
I couldn't agree more.
But Lauren, thank you so much. I appreciate all your insight here. It's been tremendous talking to you, and I think the viewers are, going to take a lot out of what we spoke about today. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for tuning in to episode 26 of Real Money Moves. As we wrap up today's episode, I think the biggest takeaway is this: wealth doesn't happen by accident. It's intentional, it's structured, and it's educated. Whether you're a young person just learning how money works, or a business owner building momentum, or someone earning at a high level, financial literacy is the foundation. And without it, income alone isn't enough. If you have any questions about wealth building or how real estate ties into that, feel free to reach out to Lauren or myself, whose contact information is on your screen. We are always happy to connect with our community members and viewers alike. I'm Connor Gillen from Real Money Moves, and I'll see you real soon.